Sports, let's cut to the chase. Alas, in some people's eyes, and if you're a Reggae Girlz fan, a fan of the outstanding team that has made the most of what it's got at its disposal, potentially, to make back-to-back World Cup finals, lost in the last 16 to Colombia, lost to Canada in Olympic play-in, 2-0 and 2-1, respectively, to the Olympic champions. We have seen Lorne Donaldson, Lord have mercy. Lorne have mercy. Lorne Donaldson has not been given a renewal of his contract, which expired and ran out September 30th, 2023. The reason Boss is going to be quick and fast with his response, shooting from the lip, shooting from the hip. Like, share and subscribe. If you feel me, if you agree with me or not, feel free to dispute. It's good to talk, it's good to reason. As far as the recent Boss is concerned, it's a case of on-pitch and off-pitch matters that we need to turn our attentions sharply to. I remember joining the Jamaican footballing culture landscape, getting on the bandwagon, the Juta bus, call it what you will. One of my questions to the likes of Coach's Desks, Coach Minzy, Elite Sport TV's Ryan LFC, Manning's Mans of I Am Sure Sports, Cataract, Ultra, Reggae Boys fan, Formula Sports, big up yourself, Talawa TV, Eddie Vision, Prima Vision. One question was asked. It was this. From London, England, the reason Boss wanted to know. The question, Boss, as Coach Minzy says, does Jamaica have a love of football? I'm not going to cry. I'm going to try not to cry. Does the JFF, the Jamaican Football Federation, pointedly, specifically have a love for the game? To a person, the answer came back, no. Good question. No. When we think about it and reflect, no, they don't. That being the case, everything that has taken place subsequently regarding Jamaican football comes with a heavy pinch of salt and realism. Lorne Donaldson, in my opinion, did a fine job, a good job with the Reggae Girlz, taking over from Vin Blaine at the helm of the Reggae Girlz. The girls themselves did us proud, reaching the last 16, beating out, knocking out Brazil, going through with France, defeating Panama 1-0, losing 1-0 to Colombia in the last 16 was, however, relatively disappointing. At the same time, there was a lot of pride. Excuse me, pride. I said I'm not going to cry and I'm going to stand firm. Hear me now, hear me now. But there lies the rub. Let me cut to the chase regarding on-field. It could be said that Lorne Donaldson organized a resilient, steely, determined band of sisters for their run in the World Cup, for going almost toe-to-toe with Canada, coming off decidedly second best. And it is to that I would point to the future of the Reggae Girlz. Will they have a new appointment that is superior in terms of tactical acumen, confident in the girls' ability to get even more from them? Will they have the X factor to be more attacking in the final third, to be more offensive, to be more potent? Excuse me. It could be argued that in the JFF saying, by mutual agreement, quote unquote, they've decided to go no further with Lorne Donaldson at the helm of the Reggae Girlz. That they feel that with the likes of Bunny Shaw, with the likes of Jodie Brown, with the likes of Drew Spence, Rebecca Spencer, the Swaby sisters, Wilshire, Vian Sampson, Atlanta Primus, all showing outstanding form. And yet, they could not overcome a decidedly mediocre Colombian team. We saw the quality that the Reggae Girlz possess in the form of Drew Spence's outstanding free kick against the Canucks, which gave them a 1-0 lead. However, chasing a 2-0 deficit, they were overhauled in the game in Toronto, 2-1, and it could have been more, frankly. Could it be that the JFF feel that for footballing reasons, they will have to go in another direction? It may not be the sole reason. I personally don't think it is the sole reason. But as a football fan, safe in the knowledge, I say safe, sadly, to say it's not always the best interest of football and football fans that the JFF operate in. That's not necessarily their priority. Allegedly, supposedly, it could be said. But that being said, I want to see the Reggae Girlz with the likes of Bonnie Shaw, with the likes of Jodie Brown, with the likes of Simmons, with the likes of Chaina Matthews. I would like to see even more from them, especially in the final third. If you can't score goals at the high end, you won't win matches. Can you beat the likes of Dominican Republic? Oh yes. Grenada? No problem. It's the Women's Gold Cup, the inaugural Women's CONCACAF Gold Cup 2024. Jamaica will be drawn against the likes of Guatemala and Panama, who they defeated 1-0 in the World Cup. I have every hope that the Reggae Girlz can overcome these two opponents in Group B and make it through and take their rightful place in the CONCACAF Gold Cup inaugural, as I said. However, Lorne Donaldson may not have been the visionary, may not have been the Pep Guardiola, the Mikel Arteta, the De Zerbi of Reggae Boys Jamaican football to help initiate tactical-wise the tactics, the setup to bring the best out of the team, to create chances for not only Bonnie Shaw, but for themselves, for Chaina Matthews, to see Jodie Brown at the cutting edge of the pitch instead of in midfield and looking a pale shadow of the prodigious footballer that we saw in the early stages of her international career. So Lorne Donaldson, in my opinion, is not the Lord and Saviour of Reggae Boys football. And let's take a step back, and I'm going to address the Reggae Girlz themselves, because player power is something that a few years ago was all the talk in the Premier League. Player power when the players call the shots. The Reggae Girlz famously expressed their dissatisfaction with Vin Blaine. Was it solely their issues and their concerns, or were there external influences? However, and whatever the case may be, Vin Blaine, the previous Reggae Girlz coach, had a very, very good record with the Reggae Girlz. And the Reggae Girlz were playing some attractive, attacking football whilst being defensively pretty sound. And yet, Vin Blaine was drummed out of his post, allegedly because the Reggae Girlz, quote unquote, felt that they needed a more experienced team who brought tactics, training, development, and organization to the party. In came Lorne Donaldson, to the satisfaction of the Reggae Girlz. The question then is asked, if Vin Blaine, with a successful record, the girls playing quality football, if he was not deemed to be good enough, why would Lorne Donaldson, one goal, literally one goal scored against Panama in the group stages, knocking out a poor Brazilian team, 0-0 with France, organized, holding on, and a 1-0 over Panama, a decidedly mediocre, I say again, Colombian team, with one moment of quality, was all she wrote for the Reggae Girlz in the World Cup in New Zealand and Australia. Now, if you are totally satisfied with the last 16th place in the Women's World Cup, great. But the Reggae Girlz have at their disposal that bit more quality. Bonnie Shaw is one of the leading female players in the world. She is a current Ballon d'Or nomination. And yet we have not seen Bonnie Shaw sparkle at the high end, certainly not in World Cups, to not only our satisfaction, but no doubt hers. Do coaches play a part in this? DNA, big up yourself, DNA. Full respect each and every time. I don't know if you agree, if you joined me earlier and caught what I've said in my opening shots. DNA, views and subscribers, like, share and subscribe. From London, England, I'm shooting from the hip and shooting from the lip. Lorne Donaldson's non-renewal of his contract was disappointing because he had a band of sisters working together. They had the proverbial good things going. But as a reggae boys and reggae girls fan and a football fan in general, I watched that World Cup. I watched the Olympic play-in against Canada. And apart from the outstanding dead ball strike by Drew Spence, formerly of Chelsea, now of Spurs, a former England international. All right, sir, DNA, big up yourself if you just come online. Let me just get you up to speed. Lorne Donaldson, Lorne have mercy, Lorne have mercy is the headline as far as the Reason Boss is concerned from London, England. The reappointment of Lorne Donaldson, whilst disappointing, happens in football. That is my argument, DNA. There are on-field issues and off-field issues, in my opinion, and in many Jamaican content creators' opinions, the likes of Elite Sports' Ryan LFC, Coach Minzy of Coach's Desk, I Am Sure's Manning's Man, Cataracts Ultra, Reggae Boys Fan, Formula Sports, many content creators have expressed doubts as to whether the JFF love and truly have an affinity and the best interests of Jamaican football at heart. It is my opinion that having seen the ups and downs, and there's a bag of stories that have yet to be told, according to certain content creators, well, the bag of drama goes so far and then goes on even more when the JFF is concerned. But I, as a Reggae Boys fan and Reggae Girls fan, I'm concerned with the performance and working with the material that you are given. Lorne Donaldson had an organized, resilient Jamaican women's team, qualified for the World Cup. However, one goal in 4 games at the World Cup, one solitary goal in 4 games, DNA. Does that sound like an unrivaled record? Does that sound like a record that no other manager could produce with the Reggae Girls? Does that sound like a dangerous team? Does that sound like a team that could go on and take the next step? Canada, lest we not forget, Canada had a very poor World Cup, knocked out at the early stages. They were down on all 4 haunches, down on their knees. They needed a bounce back. Jamaica stood in the way. Reigning Olympic champions, they did not play like Olympic champions. The likes of Sinclair looked their age. They were booted unceremoniously out of the World Cup. But that World Cup, check it out. Listen, sackings and dismissals and non-renewals happened. I'm an Arsenal fan. Mikel Arteta, after finishing runners-up in the Premier League, there were people calling and were calling for his dismissal. Prior to that, they were calling for Mikel Arteta's dismissal. The current, or the former, should I say, Spanish manager, man is man. You should have known a little better. I heard one of your shows, and it was interesting that you didn't get the penny that was dropping. It wasn't just a case of the Spanish footballers, a good portion of them having issues with the federation, but they also had issues with the coach himself. And it was not only the gentleman who planted the kiss on Ms. Hermosa that was in the dock. The Spanish manager coach himself was not the flavor of the month, and he ended up also being dismissed. Player power in action. And yet, this gentleman led a Spanish what could be called a B team, because at least 13 Spanish women were not in the eventual Spanish World Cup winning squad. And yet, they won the World Cup, beating the England Lionesses, who I can tell you don't ramp. And yet, he was given his marching orders, a World Cup winner. What then say you about Lorne Donaldson? Organized, resilient. Where's the cutting edge? Bunny Shaw. How many times have you seen Bunny Shaw hitting the crossbar, hitting the post, forcing the opposition's goalkeeper to make save after save, taking the ball out of the back of the net? How many times have you seen that? Shayna Matthews, Jodie Brown. The list could go on. In football, the hardest thing to do is to score. Reggae boys similarly know that there are levels to this game. A term the likes of Stan Kroenke, big up yourself Stan, know about. There are levels to this game. There are levels. The Reggae boys have quality forwards. Damari Gray, Mikel Antonio, Leon Bailey, Bobby Reid offer offensive thrust. However, what say you and me about the Reggae boys midfield? Joel Latibode, Kevon Lambert, Jonathan Russell, any takers? Levels 3-0. They were given their marching orders by a resurgent Mexican team in the Gold Cup semi-finals. 3-0. Jamaica with attacking strength, yet found wanting. Coach Jaime Hallgrimsson will be under the microscope. How will he be able to bring the best out of his coaching team, bring the best out of the Reggae boys? How will they transition from defense to counter to attack? Those are the questions. Lorne Donaldson's preferred option: keep it tight, fight, keep it tight and fight. Not many goals as a result. A 0-0, hallelujah. 0-0, hallelujah. That did for Brazil, a poor Brazilian team. Shockingly poor. They were there for the taking, and the Reggae girls took them out. But kicking forward, who will the next Reggae boys and Reggae girls, excuse me, I don't want to preempt anything. Who will the next Reggae girls appointment be? They should never remove Donaldson. Well, DNA, let me read you. They should never have removed Donaldson. Never? Never? Do you know that some people wanted Jurgen Klopp removed? Some people wanted Arteta removed. Quality coaches, don't you think? Chiche, the Brazilian boss, quarterfinals of the World Cup. Yes, a quality team at his disposal, fair dues. They were taken out on penalties. Penalties, having dominated the game against Croatia. Chiche handed in his papers. I'm off. I said I was going to be off. And off he went. No World Cup. No renewal of contract. It was principle. Principles. Hey, well, got Elite. Hey, big up yourself, Elite Sports. That's AKA Ryan LFC. Ryan, I called out your name earlier. I called out Elite Sports TV earlier. Lorne, have mercy. I say, Lorne, have mercy. No doubt we will reason. I see you've plenty to say, Ryan. The Jamaican sporting community have plenty to say. Lorne Donaldson is not the savior of the Reggae Girls project. The Reggae Girls project, make no mistake, is one well worth investing in. Women's football is not the number one priority in Jamaican sporting communities, but the success of the Reggae Girls cannot be overlooked. Back-to-back World Cups 2019 and 2023. We've got to say props. But let's get cut to the chase. Let's speak and call a spade a spade. The JFF press conference announcement said by mutual agreement, the contract of Lorne Donaldson was not renewed by mutual agreement. Let's read between the lines, and the lines don't have to be particularly big. Ryan, what me say? DNA. Check out the DNA. Does the JFF have a love for the game? I'm sure the likes of Dennis Chung, Mr. Ricketts would say, yes, of course we do. Oh, we ask. You know if I ask. Many would say, tapping eyes. I say, check it out. Lorne Donaldson. Did he get on with the JFF? Was he insistent and desperate, longing to work hand in hand with the JFF? Mutual love and appreciation, a mutual understanding and desire to take the Reggae Girlz project further. Well, by certain comments Lorne Donaldson made, by the quote-unquote alleged 5 or so minutes discussion that took place, that doesn't seem to be a case of mutually agreeing to furthering that particular relationship. Well, Mr. Ryan, that doesn't sound like mutual appreciation. That sounds like, hey, what? Let's call it quits, because the JFF were unequivocal. It seems Mr. Donaldson is one we don't wish to take on the role any further. Mr. Donaldson, in 5 or so minutes, seemingly was not pleading his case. Seemingly, prior to the meeting, was not trying to iron out and smooth out any issues that could result in the contract being renewed. Mutually, it could be said that when they said we're not renewing, as far as he was concerned, no problem. Gone. Peace, guidance. That's a mutual acceptance that things can't go on, the relationship can't go on. They're not going to the dance and having a nice evening. One go Spanish Town, one go Portmore. I take this thing for. Read between the lines. Mutual agreement. Lorne no deal with you, no check for you, and the JFF no check for Lorne. Now, what of the Reggae Girlz, the girls themselves? I've heard it said that some girls may not wish to play and represent Jamaica. I've heard it said, not from the horse's mouth, not from the Reggae Girlz themselves. I've heard it said, if that was the case, if I say, player power. Ryan, DNA, views and subscribers, player power. Player power is something that Premier League clubs had to deal with a few years ago. Particularly, it wasn't a good look. It asks certain questions of football. If we are saying that the Reggae Girlz or any other international players chosen, selected to represent their country refuse to turn up, attend, train because them not checked for the coach, I'm driving a horse and coach through that kind of reasoning. It's the highest honor. The bag of drama seems set to continue if the JFF do not have the best interest, if they are not in love with the game of football. Then, if love is the binding power, as the Reason Boss believes it is, then the foundation, the relationship will be frayed. There will be a rocky road. It won't be an easy thing. If it's sports, Ryan, you laugh. I know you've got a sense of humor, Ryan. And I know you've got a lot of passion, Ryan. Everything in due time. The drama won't end as far as you're concerned. Ryan! Viewers and subscribers, I don't kill my teeth with any and anybody for the sake of it. Mr. Chung, a smooth talker. I remember putting a couple of questions to him on Coach's desk with Coach Minzy. Asked him if he thought he was pulling the wool over Jamaican fans' eyes in his attempt to placate and suggest that things are going, everything blessed with Jamaican football. Mr. Chung, were you aware that knowledge is power? Transparency means a lot. And if you can pull the wool over certain people's eyes, smooth talking style, everything will be blessed. It seems like some people's eyes are being opened. Alas, it's not an easy road. Alas, the JFF, a law may be unto themselves. Who knows? I, as a football fan, am concerned with the game itself, with the players, with the fans, with the players looking to give of their best in the circumstances that they are given. It's never going to be a bed of roses. England, where I reside, Gareth Southgate, massive manager, and yet, despite taking the Three Lions to a European Championship final, despite taking England, playing a brand, get me now, you hear that word again? Brand, a style, quality style of football with the likes of Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, Marcus Rashford, Harry Kane, John Stones, need I go on? Bukayo Saka, coach's desk, them no good, England no good. So your mind tell you, you better rewind and come again. Gareth Southgate had calls for his head, proverbially speaking, for not winning the European Championship at home against a wise, canny, quality Italian side who reached the pinnacle in lifting the European Championship and then failing to make the following World Cup finals in Qatar. An unlucky England who had France, Mbappe and co on the ropes, Griezmann on the ropes, eventually shot themselves in the foot. Harry Kane, can Gareth Southgate account for that? Harry Kane blazing, a ball that could still be rising. Maybe that's a low blow, maybe that's a Canelo low blow. But England produced some quality football, enough to ensure that Gareth Southgate can show his head and hold his head and chest up high and say, yeah, y'all can't from ahead, but hear what? We've got a good thing going and we're not going to stop. He's been allowed to take things on. He, through his actions, his words, his deeds, the supporting of the likes of Harry Beleaguered Maguire of Manchester United, he has shown he has a love and a passion. There's that word again, L-O-V-E. Like, share, and subscribe if you have something called love. It's the binding power, I say. The binding power. And if you don't have that power, that love, interest, if you will, many a relationship will flounder on the rocks amidst the grinning and kinning of teeth, calling the Dennis Chungs to be interviewed, the Rudolph Speeds to be interviewed, to say what they will, Craig Butler and co. When I feel the vibe called love, respect, dignity, professionalism, that piques my interest, piques the Reason Boss's interest. I am looking forward to the best interests of Jamaican football being met. It's not an ideal situation, viewers and subscribers. It's not an ideal situation. There are many issues within the JFF regarding professionalism, trust, financial propriety, management, PR, marketing. The list can go on. But the future is now. Who will be the next Reggae Girlz coach? Will it be a superior appointment? Will it be one on the same level of a Lorne Donaldson, a Vin Blaine, quality styles, experience-wise? I don't want player power to be the be-all and end-all. Coaches come and coaches go. You win some, you lose some. But let's have a little dignity, a little pride. Representing your country is the number one honor for anyone. The JFF, I hope that honor still means something to someone, somewhere, somehow. Bob Marley said, no woman, no cry. I heard there was a woman who was giving her marching orders from a boss. No woman, no cry. Oh God. Oh God is what I can say. But in addition to that, as the reason boss, I also say, I'm looking for a way through. I'm looking for solutions, not just the bag of issues and problems, the bag of drama. Lorne have mercy. Lorne have mercy. Lord have mercy. What's people saying, yes, sir? Listen, DNA. Look, 100% back the girls. You back them for... Listen, the girls deserve support. They want great training opportunities. They want preparation time. They want a professional management behind and beside them. But again, Vin Blaine seemed to be doing a pretty good job. Will things be perfect? It was a fine record. It was a fine record. It was a fine record that Vin Blaine had. And yet, he was deemed not good enough. Lorne Donaldson, a good record. And yet, looking, as I said, from my armchair, not enough goals to threaten the opposition, especially when the quality rises. Jamaica have challenges and opportunities, and the challenges include not just taking on the Guatemalas, the Grenadiers, the Panamas, but taking on the Mexicans, the Americans, maybe the English. Rising, reaching for the stars. If you find the clouds, then so be it. Lorne Donaldson, we salute your contribution to Jamaican football. The future, apparently according to the JFF, is unlimited in terms of success. Imagine that, unlimited success. And yet they deem it fit not to reappoint a man they feel has the ability to experience and be part of unlimited success. Oh God, oh God. I raise a glass, man. I tell you, they got some nerves. Let me see some of the comments here, sir. Weird, DNA football. Southgate's not good, but you say then that's so true. And I know that a lot of the things I say are my opinions, but it's full of and seasoned with a bag of reason. Hey, Southgate not good. DNA, Southgate's not good. DNA, football is, if nothing else, a game of opinions. You're entitled to your opinion, as are many fans. But a manager, in my humble opinion, who can reside over a team with the likes of Kyle Walker, John Stones, Pickford, Kane, Foden, Rashford, Saka, Bellingham, Lord have mercy, Phillips, Calvin Phillips of Leeds, formerly now of Man City. I don't know if he's actually left Man City, but my lord, this guy Calvin Phillips, from nowhere, he was a nobody to being a somebody, an effective midfield player. Oh, have I mentioned Declan Rice? Declan Rice now of Arsenal. Let me tell you something. England have got some talent, trust me. European Championships, look out. Southgate's not good. I tell you what, those players ain't saying, hey, Southgate out. Those players ain't saying we're down in sticks, we're down in tools, we're not going to play for you no more, Gareth. Au contraire, DNA, au contraire. Those fans who oppose a Southgate must also recognize, and do recognize at the same time, that the players, like Gareth Southgate, they have felt more at ease with the media, felt excited at representing England, and they've developed a better relationship with the English fans and media. I say Mr. Southgate has done many, many good things. Is he capable of taking that final step? Listen carefully, hear the similarities to Lorne Donaldson. DNA, is that where you're coming from? Because the reason boss will be coming from a similar place. Gareth Southgate, a defender by trade and profession, is sometimes on the side of caution rather than letting talent off the hook, quote unquote, and letting it shine. Sometimes he might take the reactionary approach instead of the proactive approach. Let me see what the opposition is going to do. Let's not jump the gun. Let's just take it easy. Let's just keep it solid. Let's just keep it solid, hard to score against, and then we'll see what we can get at the other end. Some of the very best teams trust themselves and say, yeah, we'll take the game to you. We're going to make the first move. We dare to make the first move. Reggae Girlz, I want you to dare to make the first moves. But the first moves towards on-field footballing success. You've shown you've got the ability to make back-to-back World Cup finals. You've shown the way for Caribbean nations in women's football. Haiti shone a light, shone bright, and yet I don't believe they scored one solitary goal in the World Cup. And yet they were an effective presence in the World Cup, given England Lionesses all the problems they could handle, and yet they went down to a retaken penalty, and that was all she wrote. In football, if you can score more than one goal, you're in the money potentially. If you're struggling to score, just not going to be easy. Gareth Southgate has got some talent at his disposal, but if he keeps the proverbial handbrake on, then DNA, we can see why England may not be deemed favourites to lift a trophy. Do we want the Reggae Girls to lift trophies? Of course we do. Are they capable of lifting a trophy? There are levels, as the likes of Max's JD says, without question. I salute Papa JD, the analytical boss, and he, with the reason boss, understands that there are levels to this game, just like Stan Kroenke on coach's desk reasoned. There are levels to this thing. But the Reggae Girls have the ability to inch a little bit further up the ladder. They have the ability to push past the Colombia and find themselves toe-to-toe with the English Lionesses. They have that ability. They have the ability to hit a Canadian team who are short of confidence. Can they beat them? They can get a little closer. It's just not the scoreline. It's the performance. And it's the performance, and for performance's reasons, that I, as a football fan, am aware that the reason Boss's antenna is not rocking out of the sight and going up and into the stratosphere at the non-reappointment of Lorne Donaldson. The Reggae Girls, I believe, are capable of a little bit more. And I hope they find it within themselves, along with the forthcoming coaching staff, to just edge themselves that little bit forward. Find a way to weave those patterns, which I saw technically. The Swabies, Primus, Spence, Samson, they've got the technical ability to mix it with many teams. I'm not saying they're Spain, I'm not saying they're England, I'm not saying they're Japan, but they've got something about them. But when you've got the likes of Bunny Shaw, Simmons, Chaina Matthews, these are forwards, and we need to find a way to transition from midfield to the forwards, to give ourselves shooting opportunities, test the opponent's goalkeeper. It simply wasn't being done enough, often enough, under Lorne's reign. Lord of mercy. Lord of mercy. Hey, Ray, how about this now? We don't care about what you're saying. Okay. Each to their own opinions, Ray. What is your opinion, Ray? I'd be fascinated to find out. Or would I? Yeah, of course I would. Reason Boss about. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace and love. Let love reign long. Ray. Yeah, what I say? Did you hear what I say, Ray? Peace and love. I love you, man. Peace and love. Big up the Reggae Girls and the Reggae Girls Project. They have come a long way. Back-to-back World Cups. Ray, would you agree with me? Elite Sports, I'm sure that you do. Ryan, DNA, I'm sure you do. Views and subscribers, big up yourself. Go read it. I'd love to read a book about the success of the Reggae Girlz. Back-to-back World Cups 2019 and 2023. Outstanding success in relative fashion compared to the Reggae Boys, if anyone dares to compare them to the Reggae Boys. It's been a terrific, successful period. Despite the challenges that the Reggae Girlz have faced, they have done Jamaica proud. Like, share, and subscribe. Pray and hope for more love to be shown to the Reggae Girlz and the Reggae Boys. The projects need to go on, but we need honesty, we need transparency, we need love. Like, share, and subscribe, and keep it locked on Docked. Rich Post Sports. Keep the Jamaican content shining and thriving, but with a spirit of love, not just for the bag of drama, but for truth, transparency, and the love of the game being first and foremost. So says the Reason Boss. Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica land, we